Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest episode of our favorite zombie show, AMC's The Walking Dead. Just got done watching the brand new episode called Omega, and there's a lot to talk about in tonight's episode. I know I say that a lot, but in this case there is. So before I get started, of course, please be warned, this is going to be a spoiler-filled episode review. Again, this is going to be filled with pretty big spoilers regarding the introduction of a certain character or characters and some other interesting revealing details as well. So if you're not caught up on this episode of The Walking Dead, or if you're not caught up on Walking Dead at all, do not keep watching or listening to this video, as I will be discussing spoilers. So you have been warned. That being said, good episode. A very solid, good episode. You know, it wasn't exactly thrilling or gripping, but there were moments where it had moments of there were moments of real humanity, and you know that was expressed through Daryl, Lydia, and Henry, and those were our obviously our big leads. And I also really liked Kelly breaking down for her reason of wanting to find her friend Luke. And their whole little group, you know, their whole little group outing trying to find him. So I liked that a lot too. But I thought the thing that was so interesting to me is that Lydia has clearly been brought up, conditioned by not only the zombie apocalypse, but by her cult leader of a mother who's clearly insane, how to behave, live, and think a certain way. And even though, you know, she was thinking about taking that hammer and probably smacking Henry either to kill him or at least get away, as soon as that baby started crying, it triggered something into her. Like, it triggered her PTSD, because clearly she is still suffering from some kind of form of PTSD from when she was a little girl, from when her father died. And throughout this whole episode, what I thought was fascinating, instead of getting the regular backstory to a new character, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy, in this case, a bad guy, what I thought was interesting is that the backstory actually fluctuated. Like, it changed here or there. Like, you know, we weren't sure if her dad was really a jerk, or if it was her mom, or if it was somebody else who was bitten by a walker and not her dad, and, you know, what exactly was going on. And then as she revealed to Daryl and Henry towards the end of the episode, she revealed that this was a story that her mother had told and repeated to her time after time after time. And so she always took it as the truth. And so it leaves the audience kind of hanging and wondering, what exactly was the backstory here? Like, did all of this really go down the way she claimed to? Because Lydia's already proven to be a bit of a liar. But now that she's been, like, emotionally rattled and it's triggered her old PTSD, I'm pretty confident in saying that Alpha most likely killed her husband when he didn't want to leave, but she did. And, you know, she basically did what is now the classic Whisperer move, shh, to poor fragile little Lydia. So that part I do believe. And I am pleased that we got somewhat of a backstory, although I was under the original impression this was going to be a backstory on Alpha, but maybe they're saving that for another episode. Hell, maybe not even this season. Maybe next season if Alpha is still around, which I would imagine she would be, because we're in the second half of this season, and I doubt they're going to kill off a character, or at least a villain, that they've been teasing for the longest time now. Speaking of teasing, what a great reveal. I loved that final couple seconds of the end of this episode where we see the Whisperers approaching Hilltop, and then she's the only one without a mask, and she makes her way through the ranks, and she proudly declares, "I am Alpha." And she looks scary. Like, I wasn't expecting, like, I was thrown off because I was like, ooh, because I wasn't expecting her eyes or her mouth to be so filthy and dirty. Like, that kind of threw me off. But it was good. It was creepy. It had this great creepy effect to it. And I was like, ugh. I think that was probably the reaction they were going for their viewers and their audience here, for all of us to go, ah. But it worked on me. I certainly reacted to it. And now it certainly has raised the stakes for the next episode. It looks like it's going to be a very tense confrontation between Alpha and Daryl. And, you know, we still don't know what happened to Alden or Luke. I mean, hopefully they're both alive, probably in captivity, but both alive, most likely. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, you know, this episode, even though it might not have been the most exciting or engaging thing, the humanity displayed by Lydia, Henry, Daryl, and the new group of characters, Magna, Kelly, and Connie, and Yumiko. I just loved how everybody, all these characters, at one moment or another throughout this whole episode, were vulnerable, were like open, like kind of like an open target. Not, I don't want, target's kind of a mean word, but you know what I mean. There's like, everybody was emotionally vulnerable at least once. Even Daryl, like Lydia was starting to get under his skin, like, oh, did someone used to beat you all the time? And then, I loved the psychology, because at first I thought, damn, he might really beat her, which I'm like, all right, this might get him some results here. So let's see what happens. But it's like, okay, he's actually not going to hit her. He's a good man. But the threat was there. I liked the implied threat, so I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, everybody, like our main core of characters throughout this episode, even Tara at the end there, when she said, next time you want to challenge my leadership decision or a big decision I make, come talk to me about it. And then she openly admits, because I have no idea what I'm doing. And to me, that takes a lot of courage to say, to admit to somebody you don't even know that well, you have no idea what you're doing. It takes a lot of guts, in my opinion. So I loved the moments of humanity that were like sprinkled throughout this whole episode, while it led up to a great reveal. Like, this episode, I thought, had a great finale with just that ending scene where Alpha introduces herself. I mean, that is a killer way, in my opinion, to introduce the next big bad villain to The Walking Dead. So what did you guys think? Did you like this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you expecting more, expecting less? What do you think is going to happen in next week's episode? I want to hear your thoughts and theories down below in the feedback in the comments section. I'd love to hear from everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the night. Don't forget to tune in to the EdWord for other uploaded videos and more episode reviews like this one. To be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. Have a great rest of the night. And of course, until next time, may the force be with you.